Christina. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have Ralph, my husband, with me, and we're gonna do the 1 year. Well, that's not right. We're gonna do a marriage Q&As because we've been married for 1 year now. So we just want to do like a
in
fun.
3 months.
Yeah, 1 year and 3 months. Yeah, we're supposed to film that a long time ago, but finally, at least we're filming it now, and we just want to do one every year to kind of just remember those, 1 year anniversary, kind of talk about it and see how much we change. And okay, so what is the biggest difference between being married and dating? You wanna go first?
You go first.
Okay. I think the biggest thing obviously is living together. So we did not live together while we were dating, or we've been together for actually 10 years, and I've never lived with a guy, so it was my first time living with a guy. So I think it's the biggest difference in general, because our relationship has really been the same and it has evolved, but for me it would be that. What about you?
The biggest difference, it's pretty much the same thing. The biggest difference, I mean, we were together for 9 years before we got married, so I knew pretty much everything. So far, nothing is different from when we were dating. So I'd say just having her available.
So kind of like the same thing, living together.
At night, when I go home, she's there now. Before I was going home away from her, so it's a lot better. Yeah. Having you around, so I can grab you whenever I want.
Okay. All right, so the next one is, when are you planning on having kids? That is the question that everybody asks when you first get married. So, before it's like, when are you gonna get married? Now it's, when are you gonna have kids? And
it's never gonna stop. We understand that it's never gonna stop. It's always the next thing. When you graduate high school, when are you gonna? Well, everybody expects you to just go straight to college, which we did. We graduate college. When are you gonna start working? And then when are you gonna get married? When are you gonna have kids? So once we have kids, it's gonna be something else. I don't know.
When's the next one? When's the next one?
When's the next one? Trying to please the parents and the grandmas.
And we're not into that. We just want to take our time. We've been together 10 years and we've been married a year now. We want to give ourselves, a lot of time just to enjoy, travel, have fun, and then
what do you
we
say?
Have a long time.
In the 30s.
Okay. How do you deal with each other's bad habits?
How do you deal with it?
With each other's
I'll go first, because the spicy ones for later. How? Meditation. Or you need... I'm just kidding. How? I don't know. I guess loving her enough that the bad habits are, not that big of a deal to me. I'm pretty relaxed and laid back guy in general, so an understanding person. I tend to think I am as a person, so I deal with them better than most.
Yes,
it comes to me easier than most people, so I don't have to work on it that much. As much as most people have to focus on working on getting used to some habits. Yeah, but not to the good one.
So I've learned to communicate your feelings, because if you don't say anything, the person doesn't know what's in your head, and they don't know. Like, he doesn't know what I'm thinking if I'm frustrated about something. So if I don't say it, then it becomes a big issue for me, but not for him, because he doesn't know what's going on. So I have to remember that. So I think that's one thing I learned, with the bad habits, which is just communication in general. Okay, so the next one is, who is the clean freak?
Do we even have to answer that question? I mean, you're watching this video and think about your own life. Usually it's the girl.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Okay, number 5. Did you learn something shocking from your significant other?
You go first.
Well, it's the same. I'll say the same thing with the clean freak. It's just I didn't know that he wasn't as organized, and I'll tell you why. Because when I met you, he had the cleanest car. you know, I like everything was just so organized. I was like, wow, like, you know, it's like you already put the.
I think my car just happened to be clean.
It was clean. It was.
But
so clean.
I don't think it was a persona.
It was so nice.
I didn't change. I didn't change anything. I don't think I've changed at all in the 10 years we've been together. I think it just happened to have been clean and that made an impression on you. For me, it's. What's the question?
Something shocking about your
shocking. How. Now don't be mad at me for the.
No, no.
Okay. It's how. When she's hungry, how she cannot control herself when she's hungry. That's shocking to me still. When I'm hungry, I get quiet. I understand I'm hungry. Therefore, there's some things I understand I'm going to get annoyed a little easier. So I might control what I'm saying. But yeah, she it's the same thing when she's hungry every time. You can expect to not have a pleasant time if, you know,
okay,
you
yes.
test
I mean,
her.
look, girls
in
get
my head,
angry,
I'm like,
okay? Girls get angry if
hangry.
you... hangry?
Yes.
Is it hangry?
Hungry and angry.
Yeah, I guess, you know.
And I understand, to me, you know, I understand that when you're hungry, you don't feel your best, so
that's something I will work on.
I
That's
watch what I'm
definitely
gonna say, which I expect. Okay, she knows she's hungry right now. Sometimes I even point it out, and I expect to maybe get a better experience.
I've worked on it a little bit.
I haven't
Not really.
noticed.
Okay, so I'll work on. That's definitely something because we talked about it before. So I am going to work on it and become a little bit better at it because I know sometimes, and I think it happens to everybody when you're hungry. You know, you just don't think clearly, and you can have a very short temper. So that's me sometimes when I'm really hungry. So, yeah, that's something that I know and I will work on for sure. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you keep things spontaneous so that you don't fall into a routine?
Well, so I have to admit, we have to do a better job at doing that. Lately, we've been going to the movies once a week. If there is a movie that we want to watch, I have to get back to buying flowers every month. We go to the beach once in a while because we live in Miami, and I don't think we enjoy the beach as much as we should.
Yeah. And we've been traveling a little bit more right now, so I enjoy that. We went like every time it's like not even like traveling, it's just actually planning the trip. It's so exciting because you you go online, you see.
That's another point on its own. You know, I thought Christina was taking it to the next level when she was planning for a trip or packing her bag a whole 7 days in advance, and I saw my mom packing a month in advance. So I can't speak too much on that. I just need about 2 hours to get my clothes ready.
Exactly. Okay, so you know what? This is why it's very important to go read the book. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, okay? Because we're two different people. So the way that I process things, the way that you process things, it's completely different.
She's living the moment. Like,
yeah, so for me, whenever there is like, that's why so for me that's very exciting. Whenever, even if it's not like a trip that's away from Miami, just like the fact that we're going somewhere different, it gets you excited because to me it brings me back to dating. It brings you back to like having something, you're going somewhere special together. So if we're going to travel, I am like, my head is on travel mode, so I am just like planning. I can see all the stuff, other places I'm going, what I'm gonna wear. Like it's just like, I don't know, it's exciting, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going back to that, I think. Yeah. So next question. What have you learned about yourself throughout, the first year of marriage?
Go ahead.
So for me, I think that I thought I was a very understanding person. I thought I was very, like I can compromise better. So I think that when we used to talk, I could just have a better understanding of how to talk to him and how to, work together. And then I realized I'm not really that person. So I am very like black and white sometimes. I can just be like, I want this done now, and I just need it done at that moment. And I didn't realize I was so I'm
she
very
likes to get whatever she wants done. She likes it done right away, which is what we were saying earlier, is not exactly how I work. there's something that needs to be done, but I'm gonna make sure I put it in its place and when it's gonna be done. So yeah.
Yeah, so I've learned basically that you know, I thought I was more understanding in the sense that, you know, when something needs to be done, I would just be able to compromise and work with him and just be like, okay, it's okay, we're gonna work together. But I realized that sometimes I'm very like, okay, I want it that way, and if it's not done that way, it's kind of, you know, I'm not in my best mood. So it's something that I'm working on, but it's something that I've learned about myself. So
what have I learned about myself? Well, that
basically, like, did you change while, like, your first year married? Did you change because you were married for a year?
That's one thing I thought about. I think I have remained the same exact person for 10 years.
True, you don't change for anybody. So
yeah, I guess I learned that the differences between how men and women think, and that goes back to that book, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. It is highly recommended if you're married or in a relationship, or even if you're not, for your future relationships. It will really help. It's something you should watch together every year if you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so what is the best thing about being married?
So the best thing about being married is having her around, and being able to travel together. I think that so we were dating. We have a great relationship for 9 years, but the only thing that we could say is that we had to get her parents' approval for everything. So that definitely helped in pushing for the, you know, for me to ask her to marry me.
Okay, let me
so
explain.
She could be available for us to do what we want to do as a couple,
yeah.
Without having to go through her parents every time.
Okay, so I have strict parents. I grew up with strict parents. I can say they're too strict, but it's just, you know, with the way my family was is, you know, when you're not married and you live with your parents, there's just some things that you cannot do. So they didn't really appreciate you traveling with a boyfriend if you're not, you know, engaged, or not even engaged, if you're not married. So that's the culture that is not like every Haitian culture, but it's basically like what my parents are more in that
we're
sense.
from the Caribbean. Not a lot of cultures really are for that, but in Haiti, yeah, they don't do that.
Well, I think now they've changed, but like for us, maybe. But for me, like I wasn't. So even though we've been together 9 years, I couldn't travel with him. I think we traveled twice together. Yeah, twice. We went like with his family, and another time it was, you know, for a business trip when we were engaged. Mm-hmm. That's the only time that we've ever traveled together in like 9 years. So finally now, I think the best thing, I agree, is just that we can actually travel, we can actually be together. Just waking up next to you now, like I think that's like the fun thing, like when you're dating a lot and then now it's like, oh, I can wake up next to him, you know.
And also, being that she became vegan before I really got into it, she cooks. It really helps to have that support system for me. I don't think she needs a support system because she managed to be pretty vegan by herself. But I needed that support to help me because, you know, coming home and the food or in the morning, the breakfast would be ready. Made it a lot easier for me to not have to go look for something else. So, yeah, it might be different for you, but for me, eating vegan is actually a lot easier with her. Yeah. Around at all times.
Hey. Mm-hmm. And then it's not the last question actually. Number 9. Some people say the first year of marriage is the hardest. Do you agree?
Not for us. To me, the first year was pretty seamless. It was exactly like it was when we were dating. Mm-hmm. It was great. In fact, better than when we were dating. If I have to say that we started having our little disagreements here and there, it's this year, which would be right after our 1 year anniversary. So year 2 for us is the character building year. Yeah.
I think the first, maybe it's the hardest if you are moving in for the first time, or Well, it wasn't our exact situation because I think now we're starting to have like a little bit more understanding of each other. But I think it can be for some people. For me, I don't think it was the hardest. It was actually the best. It was actually more freedom because when we were dating, it was always, we couldn't really do as much. Like we really be like, it wasn't us responsible for ourselves in a sense, Mm-hmm. So now it's just, we make our own decisions together. So now that we're together, it just makes more sense and it's better. So I enjoy that, definitely. So I think it wasn't the hardest, but it's definitely a little bit more challenging because you had to learn about living with two people, but not hard.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Not hard, but
I mean, basically the first week was the adjustment for me because not having the whole bed for myself was different. It took some getting used to. Yeah, every couple has somebody's leg poking at them. That's normal, right?
Okay, what about waking up and you're at the edge of the bed because somebody's poking you to the end? So I almost fell, because he was literally his leg. You're pushing me to the side. Like I wake up and his his ankle is all the way up to my back. So
I have to know that you're around.
But this is like the funny parts. Like it's
it wasn't a big adjustment. It's just new.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Funny. Okay, so the last question is: what advice would you give to newlyweds?
Communicate. Communication. I'm sure everybody's heard this, but that's exactly what it is. Communication, and basically, if you have something that you can sense is not going right, talk about it. Don't hold it in. Holding it in is actually going to make it worse because you're going to blow up one day that we so far haven't gotten to because we try to communicate even when we feel like we're not communicating as much. We try to be at bat to it, so we notice when communication is not there. So with communication, we've had pretty seamless and the best 10-year relationship that I can think of. I have no complaints so far.
So far.
If we keep communicating, it won't be like this.
I agree. And then one thing is also to work on yourself. That's something that I've learned a lot because you think, and people say that a lot, like when you become a couple, it's not 50-50. And I know it's been said a lot. It's not 50-50, it's 100-100. So you have to work on yourself so you become the best version of yourself in the relationship. So as I was saying before, sometimes, I have some expectations about what's, something is supposed to be that way, and I may have a short temper towards it. But I had to understand that I had to work on myself to become a better person. And then as you become a better person, which is better communication with yourself, better self-love, then you become a better partner, and then together you guys can grow long term. So I think, the best advice for any newlywed, work on becoming the best version of yourself, and then together you guys will become a great couple. So
be understanding is one of the things I'd say. Understand where the other person's coming from. If you guys are different for a reason, so understand that you guys are different, and put yourself in their shoes whenever
empathy
you can.
In a sense, and watch read the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. I definitely recommend that. We actually watch it in French on YouTube. There's actually, if you guys speak French, there's a documentary on it on YouTube it's actually very funny. So we watch it every year, and it just explains the whole process because you may have a great relationship, but once you start living together, you start picking up some habits that you don't realize the other person has. And the reason why they're not the way that you are is because you're not the same person, of course, and you don't want to be. But a man thinks differently than a woman thinks. So if something that may be logic to me, like, as you're watching the game, why don't you just do the dishes? That's not logic for him. And I had to understand that, even though it may be, hard to understand, a little frustrating at the time. Like, why isn't that just simple for you to do that at the same time? I had to understand that he is not me. He's not a woman, and he doesn't think that way. So once, and it takes some time. It's not like you watch it and you get it. You have to work on it long term and then after that you become a better person, a better communicator, and in a great relationship, I think.
Yep.
Okay, if you guys enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and comment down below if it's been your 1 year anniversary or any questions that you have about marriage or relationship. I'd love to hear it. All right, bye.
Subscribe too.
Yes. All right, so if you guys enjoyed this video, give it.
That's going in the bloopers.
No.
Anyway,
Okay,
I think
fine.
that's the only one we